Tim John is a good bloke. I've never met him, mind you, but he must be a good bloke. That's if his workmanship under the bonnet of the 2017 Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG S-Coupe is anything to go by. Impeccable is the word that immediately springs to mind. You see, an AMG power plant is a bespoke unit, assembled by one technician, and only one. It's a small but significant feature that some AMG buyers don't even realize. And it's that craftsmanship, that artisanal approach, that differentiates AMG from its hyper rivals. As a mark of respect and an illustration of how significant the handmade component of the build is, AMG then affixes that technician name directly to the engine. It's a small pointer to the importance of hand assembly and craftsmanship, something AMG does well in an increasingly robotic world. And it allows you to lift your AMG's bonnet and mutter, "Tim John, bloody good engine builder he is." As I sit and look back a little longingly, I have to be honest, at the bulbous coupe that sits ticking and cooling a few meters away, my mind drifts back to Herr John, and I wonder what he would think of the thrashing I've just given his creation. It wasn't quite merciless, but it was approaching that kind of treatment. AMGs seem to love it, and with the ballistic engine note they generate, it's almost criminal not to. There's no doubt that AMG delivers muscle car theater that's every bit as good as the Americans and the Aussies, even though Germany didn't invent the concept. This C63 AMG S-Coupe might just be the best AMG has ever done too, which, given recent history, is no mean feat. Pricing for this model starts from $162,115 plus the usual on-road costs, and this test example is completely devoid of options, meaning what you see here is exactly what you get if you don't start ticking boxes at the dealer. Under the bonnet, there's a savage 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 engine that hammers out 375 kilowatts between 5,500 6,250 RPM and 700 Nm between 1,750 4,500 RPM. If you're wondering whether that's enough power and torque for daily driving duties, yes. Yes, an island is also enough to lose your license rather easily too. Although one of the C63's most obvious strengths is the reality that it sounds incredible, even at 60 or 80 km/h. So you don't need to be doing warp speed to inflate your ego. The ADR claimed on the combined cycle is 8.6L/100 km, and on test we used a hard-to-believe 9.9L/100 km. The figure dropped as low as 7L/100 km life on the freeway too, so the engine is genuinely efficient for something capable of such mass destruction. Universally at Car Advice, we love the C-Class cabin, and in AMG guys, that's as good as it gets. Beautifully appointed, comfortable, subtle and classy, the C63's cabin is everything you'd expect at this price point and performance level. Mercedes-Benz has pulled off sporty without being kitsch. There's nothing boy racer about the cockpit, but rather it has a genuine performance feel to it. Expertly crafted Napa leather matches perfectly to Article Max Megabyte speak for faux leather, while there's classy silver detailing and sard satin wood trim. The heated seats are both car-sitting and capable of holding you in place at speed. The Mercedes-Benz common infotainment system is easy to master and pretty effortless to use as well, if not quite as accomplished as direct rival BMW's iDrive system. However, the AMG experience is about the driving, not messing around with the infotainment system, so let's not argue too much on this point. There's next to no room in the second row, But you're probably not buying this coupe for daily four-seat duties anyway, and it can accommodate 3 or 4 people at a pinch, when needed. Boot space is big enough to be useful and general comfort is right where it should be. The interior feels expensive, so that's a box ticked in our opinion. As with any AMG though, it's the fireworks under the bonnet that are the most alluring part of the overall package. What's our favorite engine characteristic? Well, aside from the meaty exhaust note it generates when you kick it in the John Smalls, the torque is the undoubted highlight. Those in the know smirk as our high power gets all the public plaudits and not covered with each other when a subject foot torque is raised. This V8 engine is a torque monster and is all the better for it. It remains one of the reasons the V8 engine is such a revered platform across the board, really, more so when 2 turbochargers are added to the equation. That 700 Nm peak torque figure is available from an incredibly low 1,750 RPM, which effectively ushers any perceptible turbo lag out the door and ensures low-down punch is of the cold knockout variety. Rare is the occasion you'll be able to introduce the accelerator pedal to the firewall, such is the immense search that is available even at half throttle. Head straight to a racetrack if you want to fully explore event-based capabilities, as opposed to heading straight to jail, which is a reality if you get too excited on the street. An integral cog in the enjoyment wheel is the absolutely sensational gearbox. Packing 7 ratios and of the conventional rather than dual clutch variety, it hammers through the gears under load with scant regard for the stress you're placing on it. The shift is both razor sharp and rapid fire at speed, and our racetrack experience with other C63 AMG variants hammers that point home even more resolutely. At any speed on public roads, the shift is way sharper and more precise than you'll ever need. As Kern noted in his road drive of the estate, in comfort mode, the C63 AMG S2K is actually reasonably comfortable. The broad cross-section tires can't generate some noise on coarse chipped surfaces, but smooth hot mix barely elicits a whimper. The suspension copes with the usual urban road fare in unruffled fashion, and while the ride certainly bears on the side of firm, it's not an experience that passengers will find unduly harsh. I agree with Coupe, too. Around town, this new C63 is more mature, less rabid than the old and much-loved 6.3-liter. Sure, the engine note isn't quite as fearsome under light throttle application, but if you drive your C63 every day as most owners do, that isn't actually a bad thing. Open the tax code, and everyone else better batten down the hatches, which is exactly as it should be when you stump up this much coin. The torque might be available down low, but coax the V8 up to a howling 7,000 RPM treadline, and the soundtrack just gets even more irresistible. While the real seduction remains in the meat of the mid-range, this twin-turbo will power all the way to redline and keep filing on speed relentlessly as it is so. In that mid-range from around the 3,500 RPM mark, roll-on acceleration is eye-watering and immediate. You'll dispatch overtaking beauties with almost comic ease. Tweak the drive settings via the console-mounted dial into Sport or Sport Plus and the gear shift, which is sharp enough in comfort, gets even more precise. While this MCD uses the lubricated clutch pack rather than a conventional torque converter, it is as precise as any conventional automatic we've ever tested. Yes, it is that good. Head for the twisty bits and a few things become immediately clear. Such is the inherent balance. You don't even really need to switch out of comfort mode. Need being a relative concept, of course, because who needs this much earth-shattering power in a daily driver in the first place? We've always revered the way AMG products engage with the driver. You're never left feeling remote or removed from the process. And this new C63 refines that theory even further. It's never blustered, with near-perfect weight transfer, amazingly connected steering and an overarching feeling of confidence. I struggle to comprehend how hard you'd have to push, and how stupid you'd have to be, to approach anything that remotely resembles its limits. The C63 has always been desirable, of that there's no doubt. Previously though, it was more like that make we all have. You know, the one. Drinks a little too much, parties a little too hard, gets a little too loose in public. The one who leaves you feeling like you've gone 12 rounds with a decent amateur boxer by the end of proceedings. This new generation isn't like that at all. We all love that mate, we always will, but we truly admire the more tactful mate. The one who walks with confidence, is quiet when needed, doesn't step out of line in public, but carries the quiet confidence of a knockout blow if push comes to shove. That is the new C63. Its performance is more unassuming than ever, and we love it for that. The Coupe Buddy style brings with it some downfalls, namely lack of cabin space, especially in the second row. That aside though, the Coupe is for us a pick of the C63 range overall. The sedan doesn't look quite aggressive enough, where this Coupe looks tough as nails. It's befitting of the muscle car concept. We concede that the BMW M4 might be the better precision implement, the rapier or scalpel to the AMG's sledgehammer or axe. The M4 might even be faster around a track, sharper in truly gifted hands. That's irrelevant to us though, especially when you factor in the thought that the AMG can conjure at sedate speeds. It's a signature sound that people notice, and it makes you feel good when you hear that immense engine thundering under load. The C63 AMG S2K is an epic car. It's almost affordable for the average under two, and it still features real hand-built tradition under the bulking, muscled exterior. It's one of those cars we never want to give back. It's worth every bit of the 9 overall we've given it here. The fact you can drive it every day is an unmitigated bonus. In the interests of fairness, we usually try to find the negatives to at least counteract the positives. While the C63 S2K isn't perfect, damn it's close. And there really isn't a single thing to dislike about it.